Hello, this is Cotton Stoops, and today's HTUC video is on Vesperatu. Vesperatu is really great and has been great for a long time, so let's talk about it. From the counters and checks and teammates that you'll need to know for Vesperatu, as well as the roles and sets that Vesperatu will need to run, and of course the weaknesses and resistances, today's video is all about how to use and counter Vesperatu. So the first thing you must know is the role that Vesperatu plays, and this is a question that can be answered with its base stats. As you can tell, Vesperatu's only weakness is its range defense of 65. The reason why this is bad for Vesperatu is because, well, its weaknesses aren't doing it any favors, and 65 range defense is pretty much low in any Lumion. But it does have some good redeeming attributes of HP of 76, an energy of stat of 88, which will let it use 5 really strong moves in the right setup, and a range attack of 82. The reason why this 82 range attack is here, and compared to another Lumion like Gobademic, who has the same thing but doesn't hit hard enough, is the fact that it also does have a melee attack stat of 110, a melee defense stat of 90, and a speed stat of 99. The reason why I included the range attack stat here is because with the range attack and melee attack, you can potentially run a mixed Vesperatu, which is pretty funny but not that much worth mentioning. However, its melee attack is really strong with its melee defense being 90. It does let it help its HP stat a bit, and of course it does give you a reason to switch in, which is pretty nice, and its speed tier of 99, being able to outspeed most wall breakers in walls in the entire game. So, what role does Vesperatu play? It is a very fast and strong Lumion. I would recommend running offensive sets with it, but it can be semi-bulky and it is great checks for most Lumions. Most Lumions in stuff like Mutagon and Cephalops, which can be pretty good for Vesperatu. Vesperatu's offensive coverage, even nailing down the factor of how good offensively it is, it can hit 5 resisted types of Dark, Bug, Spirit, Ancient, and Light. So with your coverage, I would not recommend dealing with these types of Lumions on opposing teams, but you can deal with them if you want. If they do have a secondary typing, you can hit super effectively. But 5 super effective types are Spirit, Brawler, Mind, Plant, and Light. This is pretty great because overall, you can hit the light types that can switch in on your Spirit moves, which will help you, of course, with your dark coverage. Brawler and Mind types are pretty great and common. You also do be able to resist Mind and be immune to Brawler, so that'll give you an upper hand. And because of your dark typing, most Spirit types wouldn't really want to deal with you because you do resist Spirit, so now you are neutral to it. And plant types are pretty great overall. You can threaten some plant types, which is pretty nice. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Vesperatu's set. Vesperatu's offensive set will be utilizing the ability Sharp Claws, mainly so we can deal as much damage as possible because we are the offensive set. Of course, it will be doing a little bit more than Awakening, but if you choose to run a mixed set, then Awakening will be better. Personality will be Brawny and Nimble, very clumsy. This is to max out our both important stats and to decrease the stats that we're not going to use. Very nimble, Foolish Tender will be your mixed set of choice, and of course you can run very brawny if you do want to do as much damage as possible. Slapdown and Revival will be our main 2 moves. Slapdown is for our dark stab and to deal as much damage as possible to item held Lumions. And Revival, because we do have some defensive utility, Revival is going to be very essential. Phantom Slash, Shadow Sprint, and Power Focus can make up your last 2 move slots. To be honest, I would prefer Phantom Slash and Shadow Sprint, mainly because since you are pretty offensive and you don't have as much defensive utility as defensive Vesperatus, Power Focus won't be as a necessity. And of course, Shadow Sprint can pick off Lumions that are faster than you, which in the end game can be pretty nice. And the item of choice, Dark Essence and Shine Pearl. Shine Pearl is to decrease the chance that you're gonna get one-hit KO'd by any light type move, but overall you can run other pearls if you do want to. Dark Essence can be your item of choice for offensive stuff, mainly because Dark Essence boosts your Slapdown, which will be your main move to deal damage. And for the TPs, 20 energy will let you use 5 Slapdowns and 1 Power Focus, as well as 80 HP to have leftovers, and of course the 32 melee defense, I don't know why it's there. 200 melee attack and 200 speed is to max out our important stats. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the counters and checks and the teammates of Vesperatu. The offensive counters and checks on Vesperatu will mainly consist of Lumions that can hit Vesperatu super effectively. This is pretty simple to think of because ancient types like Zulong and Halvantic that have an ancient move will be pretty great. Light types like Eclipse and Damare will generally be great as checks. Phasionot is also here because it can be defensive and offensive to Vesperatu. Deladrix does have the bug coverage, and Igazune also here because it is a fire type that has the potential to run boots outspeed Vesperatus and other Lumions like it. And as for its defensive counters and checks, this will be very easy because fire types like Pyrolin and Serenite will be pretty great. Your common defensive bulky waters like Fiskarna and Barblast can be pretty great against it. Just know that Fiskarna will probably do a little bit less because it doesn't have recovery or consistent recovery. Phasionot, Tundralin, and Obsidian, of course, they're your main melee walls, so this will be pretty great for Vesperatu. And finally, the offensive teammates will mainly consist of Lumions that can hit the fire type super effectively, so think air types like Zeppelin and Gargolem attack, and Lumions that can of course hit the stuff that it's weak to, mainly ancient types like Halvantic, Valkyrie, Cosmere Cracked, and Eclipse, or just general range attackers that can deal with the water types like Deladrix and Eclipse and Cosmere Cracked. Particularly, I would recommend Cosmere Cracked, Totab, Gargolem attack, or Zeppelin. But if you do want to use these other 4 Lumions, then of course it's very recommended. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the conclusion and my closing thoughts on Vesperatu. So overall, Vesperatu looks to be a very good Lumion for a long time. I didn't want to promote a defensive set because I think the offensive set is just better. And if you do want to use a defensive set for checking Ubers or other stuff like it, I particularly think it's not as worth it, mainly because tournaments don't allow Ubers. And second of all, there are better defensive Lumions that can deal with these Lumions that you want to check with Vesperatu. So yeah, this is just my opinion. If you want to like the video and subscribe, do that as well. And remember that Zulong is still a dumpster fire. Alright, see ya.